I kind of rehearsed my speech and did a lot of research on this, Courtney, but first of all, I'd like to welcome everyone here tonight. Of course, I'm the father of the bride, and I want to thank all of you for coming here and sharing in this special day for Courtney and Jack. And everyone here tonight, in no small way, shape, or form, has had some impact or influence on Jack and Courtney's lives. And that's why you're here tonight. So thank you very much for that. So Courtney and Jack, it's finally here. So take a deep breath, relax, enjoy the night, and I'd like to welcome everyone here to do the same. Just relax. You may be sitting at the table where you may not know everyone, but introduce yourselves. Talk to each other and get comfortable and have fun tonight. We got a lot of good food, drink, dancing, everything. So I appreciate everyone being here tonight. You know, and on a personal note, I think about half the people in this room are patients of mine. So I'd like to thank you for making this reception possible. So, you know, when I give talks or speeches, where's my staff at? Can you raise your hands? Where are they at? Oh, there they are. Yeah, you know, they know I'm comfortable talking. I like to talk a lot. Sometimes they have to tell me, hey, come on, your next patient's here. Let's get going. So before I get started, I always like to tell a few jokes. So, Courtney, when I walked in this room tonight, Jack and Courtney, it's been a long and emotional day for me. And I'll tell you what, even your cake is in tears. I had to give a corny joke, Courtney, you know that. Okay, one more. Jack and Courtney, did you hear about the two cell phones who got married? Their reception was great. But anyway, your reception is going to be phenomenal. So, you know, when I thought about what I was going to do, I wanted to do something special. You know, I've been to a lot of weddings, and sometimes you know the bride and groom, sometimes you don't. Or you know a little bit something about them, and, you know, sometimes you don't. And you're like, I decided that I'm going to do a little slide presentation of my daughter's life. It's only about 3.5, 4 minutes, Courts. And the last joke is, you know your dad's pretty computer savvy, right? No, that's the third joke. I'm not. So I had to elicit some help from friends of mine to do this. So I got a slideshow here. Tony, we're going to have a song that I selected. You know, My Little Girl by Tim McGraw. So it's going to play during this, and I may give you some commentary, but you can take a look at these pictures. They're pretty awesome pictures of my daughter. First day of school on the left.
Don't you think you already know? I remember I thought you looked like an angel wrapped in pink, so soft and warm.
Of course, that's Matt and Courtney there.
I've been wrapped around your finger since the day you were born.
There they are again.
Beautiful baby from the outside in, chasing dreams that always know the road.
There they are. Grandma and Grandpa Brady, my mom and dad. That's our graduation from junior high. Junior high again. And there's on the right is St. Xavier University, her graduation. There's it. You know, Courtney's a runner, so that was 5th grade. Then junior high, and then Lockport High School. There she is again. On the lower right is that Chicago Marathon, half marathon, 13.1 miles. Look how serious she is there, huh? And this is her. This was in the newspaper when she got her scholarship to St. Xavier University. St. Xavier. There's one of our favorite doggies. And there's when I looked pretty young. But, you know, times change. That was a little cruise we took, Carnival cruise. This was her 21st birthday. And some family pictures there. That was at a wedding, and you know, we're all Cub fans. Sorry about Sox fans here tonight. And this is her classroom when she first started. She got her first job. And that's, Jack sent her some flowers for her birthday to the school. So there they are. And there's when Jack proposed to my daughter at the Board Arboretum. And Courtney Lois Lane did find her Superman. So I always wanted to come up with a theme for my speech, and I think it's my theme was role models. Back in May of 2018, last year, a bunch of colleagues in my mind, we had dinner with the former CEO of Walt Disney World, great guy. And he gave us some advice, which I want to impart to Courtney and Jack and everyone here tonight. He said, you know, I'm going to tell you, I'm older, I have kids, I have grandkids, but they go to school, they go to preschool, kindergarten, grammar school, junior high, high school, junior college, college. They get their degree, they get a job. They eventually find their significant other in no particular order. And then, of course, they get married. And he says, I got to tell you guys, and I'm honest about this, he says, just tell your kids, if they're going to be parents, they need to be role models. And if they don't want to be a role model, then don't be a parent. And that hit me pretty close to my heart because I'll tell you what, I got to give kudos to my wife and to Lori and Matt Krieger. We've raised some wonderful kids here, and I really mean that from the bottom of my heart. You guys are awesome. And I got to just, Jack, I'm doing it, you know, I keep everything, Jack, okay? So I got this note here. It's dated November 4th, 2017. So it was a Saturday morning, I'm at work, and my receptionist, she doesn't even know who Jack is, right? So he walks in, and she gives me this note. It says, Jack Krieger wants to speak to you, personal matter. So I'm sitting there, and I go, holy geez, okay. I excused myself from the operatory. I said, okay, come on, Jack, come on back in my office. And I really respect you for this, Jack. Jack comes into my office. Of course, he says, you know, he asked me for my daughter's hand in marriage. And I was more than happy to say, Jack, no problem, buddy. You're a great guy. I respect you. You respect me. You have great morals, great values. And that's how it all happened. And thanks for coming to my office, Jack. It was a busy day, but this was more important. And I got to tell you what, talking about role models, everyone at this table here, I'm proud of all you guys and girls. I mean, what you guys have accomplished and what's Courtney's, I know you and I know what you do and what you're trying to do. It's great. You guys are awesome. You need to be commended, all of you, for what you've done so far in your lives. You really are. You guys are great people. So, as everyone knows, I like to read. I do like to read, and I like politics too. So I got a little political stuff here. No, it's all good. It's all good. So anyway, I read this article, and it was by our 41st president of the United States, George W. Bush. And of course, Barbara. To me, the epitome of a role model as president and first lady is George and Barbara. They're awesome. So George decides to write an article to the CEO of IBM back in December of 2009. And this is, I can't remember all this stuff. So anyway, George says, I cannot single out the one greatest challenge in my life. I've had a lot of challenges, and I know young adults have a lot of challenges, and then my advice to young people is this. And this really hit me, and I decided to make it part of my speech because it's not only apropos for you guys and you young adults, but it's for everybody in this room tonight. I think if you listen to this and at least think about or try to implement one or two things of this into your own personal lives, I think your family will be better, you'll be better, and possibly everybody in the rest of the world will be better. I honestly believe that. So the first thing he says is, don't get down when your life takes a bad turn. Out of adversity comes challenge and often success. Don't blame others for your setbacks. When things go well, always give credit to others. Don't talk all the time either. Listen to your friends and your mentors and learn from them. Don't brag about yourself either. Let others point out your virtues and your strong points. Give someone else a hand. When a friend is hurting, show that friend that you care. Nobody likes an overbearing big shot. And as you succeed in life, he says, be kind to people. Thank those who help you along the way. And you know what? Don't be afraid to shed a tear when your heart is broken because a friend or a family member is hurting. And lastly, President Bush says, say your prayers. When I read this, I just had to include it in my speech, and I think it's phenomenal. And he, of course, our president just passed away last fall. And so finally, Jack and Courtney, I didn't want to take up too much time, because Mom says you can't talk forever. I know you like to talk, but you can't talk forever. So you know what, Jack and Courtney, you are just two young, wonderful, outstanding adults. And I got to tell you, if you ever need anything from me, your mom, Lori and Matt, we're here for you. But I don't want to be, what do they call it, that helicopter parent? I've been accused of that, but I just don't want to be that. On the way to work, I listened to 780 AM. And the lady was on there, and she was talking about not only the helicopter parent, but there's a new one. It's called the lawnmower parent. They're just rolling over their kids and just won't leave them alone. So if I ever do that, please say, Dad, take a step back, okay? And because of you, Courtney, I've told Mom probably a million times. I can't say a million times, maybe 100 times. I says, because of you, I probably would have had 3 or 4 more daughters. And you know what your mom's response was? Well, you're not going to have them with me. And there she is shaking her head, yes. Yeah, there you go, Helen. Now, Courtney, you've been a wonderful daughter and the best daughter a dad could ever ask for. So, the last thing I want to, I got a couple other things, but I got to get this in. Courtney, I know you've outgrown sitting on my lap as a baby and a little girl, but you know what? You'll never outgrow my heart. I love both of you guys. Love both of you. So now, if everybody could raise their glass, I'd like to give a special toast to Courtney and Jack. Congratulations on your special day. And I wish you an exciting road ahead, filled with happiness, health, and love for one another. Here's to a new chapter in your lives, and may God bless you both. So I guess I was talking to Tony before I walked in here, and I know we're going to have dinner. And I'd like to thank not only everyone for being here, but I want to thank the Lord our God for just giving us what we have today and how blessed we are. So if you guys would join me in a little prayer before we eat. Bless us, O Lord, for these thy gifts, which we are about to receive from thy bounty through Christ our Lord. Amen. Let's everybody have a good time tonight. Thank you.
I'd like to congratulate Jack and Courtney on their special day. I'm honored to be giving this speech tonight, although Courtney and Jack were a little bit nervous about letting me get this microphone. Courtney, you look beautiful tonight, which is probably why Jack looks a little bit better than he usually does. Also, I'd like to thank all you guys for coming out tonight and celebrating this night with all of us. Growing up, Jack was one of my biggest role models. Everything he did, I wanted to do. We had a competitive relationship, and at times it caused a lot of fighting, which usually ended up me learning my lesson. He made me the best version of myself. It could have been because of the competitive relationship that I wanted to beat him, but he was the one who believed in me. Whenever I had a dream, whether it was realistic or not, he always said, "I hope you do it." He wanted me to succeed more than anything. He taught me things that I will forever be thankful for. Whether it was about basketball or some just random stuff we would be talking about, he always looked out for me. He was my biggest rival, but at the biggest time, he was my biggest role model. When Jack and Courtney started dating, everything seemed to fit. She fit in with the giant Krieger family, which is sometimes hard to do. She became like a sister to me very quickly. A lot of the things they did, they always tried to include me in. She began to support me and treat me like a brother. I'll never forget them traveling to Nebraska and South Dakota in the middle of the winter to come watch 2 of my games. As I get older, I start to realize things. I think Courtney is a major part in Jack and I's relationship strengthening. With that being said, I hope nothing but the best for you two in the future. And Courtney, welcome to the Krieger family.
Good evening, everybody. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dana, and Courtney and I have been best friends since we met at St. Xavier almost 6 years ago. When Courtney and I first met, we hit it off pretty quickly, bonding over our mutual love of Britney Spears, reality television, and most importantly, all things wedding related. Over the years, we've spent countless hours discussing our hypothetical, someday, future weddings together. There is no one else I would have rather shared that experience with, and seeing how beautiful everything has come together, I'd like to think all of our daydreaming paid off. Courtney is as beautiful as she is smart. She's a wonderful teacher, and she's a woman of many talents. One talent that Courtney does not have, however, is hopping fences. When we were in college, we were a track team without a track, so we had to borrow from the local high schools to get our workouts done. One afternoon, we got to Evergreen Park High School, only to notice that the gate was locked. Undeterred, one by one, we decided to scale the 9-foot fence and hop to the other side. Courtney was the last one to go. She got all the way to the top and completely froze up with 1 foot on either side of the fence. Luckily, help soon arrived in the form of the Evergreen Park athletic director on his golf cart, who was equal parts confused and angry about the college team he caught breaking into his track. Not long after I met Courtney, she started dating Jack. When I first learned that Courtney had been talking to a boy, it was right before our now infamous Myrtle Beach spring break trip. Courtney was adamant that she wanted to be single before spring break, but of course, she spent the entire trip talking about Jack. That's how I knew that they were definitely meant to be, because she was so hung up over him on the whole trip. One thing I've always loved about Jack is that he always treated me like a friend of his, not just a friend of Courtney's. Jack is funny and kind, and most importantly, I can see how much he genuinely loves and respects Courtney. When he first told me he was going to propose, I could hardly contain my excitement, and I can't believe this day is finally here. Courtney and Jack bring out the best in each other, and I can't wait to see what you two accomplish together as a team. I know I speak for everyone when I say that your friends are blessed to have both of you in our lives, and while there have been no shortage of memories made over the last 6 years, I am confident when I say that the good old days are still to come. Let's raise a glass to Courtney and Jack and a lifetime of love and laughter. Cheers to the Kriegers. Cheers.
Well, good evening, everyone. It's awesome to have everyone here tonight. It's great to see so many people here to celebrate this awesome married couple. How cool is that to say? Married couple. Congratulations, guys. So, you know, it's most people have known this. They usually say they save the best for last, and I don't see why that would be any different here with my speech tonight. So I'm absolutely honored to stand up here tonight and talk about these two great people, because they absolutely are great people. But first, I want to start with Jack. Jack and I met our freshman year at St. Xavier, and I was obviously the star basketball player, and Jack didn't play sports. Obviously, I was the point guard. Just kidding. So that's the complete opposite. Jack is SXU's number 8 all-time leader in scoring with 1,767 points in only 116 games. If not for, give it up. If not for an ACL injury, Jack would have been even higher up the ranks. But it was his dedication that helped Jack achieve that and so much more. Jack's not only a dedicated friend, but a son, brother, boyfriend, now husband. Jack was always willing to go home to help his parents, travel to Iowa to watch his sister play softball, or all the way up to Minnesota to watch his brother play basketball. Jack's an absolutely great guy, and that's apparent to anyone who comes into contact with him. We became roommates our sophomore year and stayed roommates until we graduated senior year, and he probably didn't regret anything more than that. There were 4 of us that were very close and that were roommates, and Jack was probably the only one who probably can't be blackmailed for something he did in college, and I would say that's probably accurate. So that brings us to junior year. All the freshmen had to live in Regina Hall. Rest in peace to Regina Hall, that thing's going down this year. I was an orientation leader over the summer, got to know many of the freshmen before the school year started, so I was able to observe and report back to the guys of the talent that was coming in. So there were a number of nights when we would go over to Regina to mix around, or in other words, find Brandon a girlfriend. And it didn't go so well for Brandon, let me tell you. But, and more importantly, we did meet these 2 cross-country girls whose names were Courtney and Nicole. And for Jack, one of them definitely stood out. Number of weeks go by, and Jack and Courtney started texting, and then they started hanging out, and when we'd be out and stuff like that, I'm kind of like, okay, that's cool. She seems nice. Then there was one night, Jack said he wasn't going out. Well, he always went out. We all went out. You don't not go out. You guys know? So I asked him if he was like sick or something, if something was wrong, should we check on you? No, I'm going to stay back with Courtney. Okay. But that's when I knew there was something very real between Jack and Courtney. Now, there's so much to say about Courtney, and all of it's good. She's kind, she's sweet, she's smart, thoughtful, and hysterical. Like an awesome sense of humor. But to get Courtney at her best, be in a car with her for 20 hours driving back from Florida, you'll get the best material possible. For example, Courtney, what are you doing on your phone? I'm looking up flights to the Atlanta airport. I am not driving the rest of this time home with you guys. Courtney, if you are flying home, we're all flying home, honey. All flying home. I've had a wonderful opportunity to get to know Courtney very well. Whether it's our Disney trip, Michigan trips, 5K runs, Friendsgivings, and much more. Probably one of my favorite Courtney moments, and this is the one that defined it all, when I knew she was the one for Jack, was when we were hanging out at their house, having dinner. Jack says that Courtney usually makes his lunch every day. That's outstanding. but he knows when he's in trouble because there is no lunch made for him. And I just looked over at Courtney, and she had this proud smile on like, yep, that's right, I run this house. I am absolutely so proud of these two and so happy for you guys. And I know that you will live a life devoted to each other. So now I ask that we raise a glass to the awesome couple, Jack and Courtney.